Hey folks, as requested by some of you, here's a collection of some of my favorite bra-friendly knit patterns. I've got 10 in this collection, and kind of the way that I categorize bra-friendly is I can wear a normal bra under this. It does not need to be like strapless bra. It doesn't need to be racer back or something, just kind of a standard run-of-the-mill bra. Because I am an individual who, I need to wear a bra. I have decent cup size, and also like post having a baby, like the girls just need a little bit of support. And even pre having a baby, like I, more for modesty and my comfort, always liked wearing a bra. So whether you need it for support, you just feel more comfortable, these are all patterns that you can wear with a normal bra, and the bra strap's not really going to show. It shouldn't peek through in the armhole. You should have enough that you don't have to worry about that. Because like definitely there is a look of like having a nice bra strap that's visible with spaghetti straps and stuff like that. But that's not what you want all the time, and there are certainly people who don't love that look. I tend to try and avoid that, mainly just so I don't have to worry about like, which bra did I pick out? I want to go with the comfy one, not necessarily like the pretty looking one all of the time. So yeah, sorry for the rambly intro, but let's dive into the pattern. Starting with the Calm Night Cami by Lily Kate France. This is a fingering weight pattern for bust sizes 28 to 62. As far as bust measurements go, I'm using what is listed on Ravelry. Some of these might have like positive ease. I know there's one that has negative ease, so keep that in mind when you're considering sizes. I think this is a really good basic piece. I do like that it has this like structured v-neck that kind of gives me like sweetheart neckline vibes to it. It has a very feminine vibe, and also like the edgings is very neatly done. It's a double knit edging, so you're going to have like a little bit more structure to those edgings, and I think that's going to help hold up over time without adding too much additional like weight to the project. This feels like a really great piece to layer, but you could also wear it on its own. I think, you know, depending on the yarn choice, the colors you choose, this could be a very good basic piece, but it could also be a little bit more statement. This is definitely on my list. I love wearing cardigans, and I find tank tops layer much better under cardigans, just kind of for the climate that I'm in. I usually don't need that much additional warmth of like a sleeve or long sleeve under a cardigan. And also me, just comfort wise, I don't like a lot of bulk under my cardigans, so having tank tops I can layer under them reduces that bulk significantly. It's just gone. There's no bulk. The sample that she shows is in a cotton acrylic, so I think you could do this in a variety of different fiber types. I do think something that either has like plant-based with a little bit of acrylic, or plant and some natural fiber, something that's going to have memory would be good, because I don't think this is going to look really good if it's super drapey or if it gets stretched out the way that a lot of plant fibers can. So keep that in mind when you're picking yarn for this pattern. But this one's definitely on my knit list of ones I would love to knit up. Next, we have a free pattern, and that is the Liserne by Audrey Borrego. This is a DK weight pattern that fits sizes 32 to 63. Now, this is a free pattern because the designer, I think like about a year ago, decided to retire from designing, and she just made all of her patterns free. This is a V-neck tank. It's an A-line, so if you're looking for something that's a little bit more flowy, that A-line will work really well with your body type. This is a good pattern, but it does feature a little bit of detail on the shoulder strap. It's a twisted rib, so it's going to be like a nice little detail, and I think because that is on the shoulder straps, that also makes this a really good like multi-purpose piece, because if you are layering it underneath, you're just going to have that like stockinette flat But if you wear it on your own, then the details on the shoulders get to show up. The yarn suggestion is a silk, and it's actually a fingering weight held double. I think this pattern really lends itself towards plant-based fibers, things that are going to be flowy, things that you don't have to worry about having as much memory to them, or if it does stretch out, it's not going to be as big of a deal. You're just going to have like an even flowier top. So yeah, I really like this one. I do like the V-neck of it. It's not a super deep V-neck, so that's also nice. It adds a little bit of a feminine touch without being too booby. It also has apparently slip stitch details at the sides. That's a little bit harder to see in the sample photos that are provided. But looking at a couple of the project photos, it seems that these slip stitch just kind of create a nice like seam down the side without needing to like knit two separate pieces and seam them together. Next we have the Summer Flow by Stephanie Lotven. This is a DK weight pattern for bust sizes 28 to 68. This is the first like O-neck tank on my roundup. It has a really nice ribbing along the neckline and armholes, and then the majority of the rest of it is worked in stockinette with this, I think it's like a twisted rib. Is it twisted rib? Twisted stockinette. I'm not familiar with that detail along the side. I really like the side panel on this, and apparently the pattern also features some waist shaping, so you can have it a little bit more fitted up top, but then flowy down at the waist. Really great for those summer patterns where you want a lot of airflow. You don't necessarily want fabric like clinging to you. But yeah, I think that side panel adds a really nice detail. It feels a little bit more than just a basic tank that maybe you could find at a store. And also in some ways, like, it is kind of slimming because it breaks up the line of your body. It creates this like visual line a little bit more down your body. This also features a bonus document that provides suggestions on how to add stripes to this. I think it looks really nice with the stripes, as well as how to customize it for your fit. I really like when designers include some of that, like how to customize it to your fit, to the patterns. I know it's some additional work, but especially for something like a tank top where the fit, I feel like you want it something that fits your body a little bit more than just like an oversized boxy sweater. Having that in it, in the pattern, makes it a lot more approachable and is really good for like those intermediate knitters where, hey, I want to start altering stuff to really make something that fits me. That's not just, okay, I'm making exactly what the pattern says, but needs a little bit of guidance on how to do that. Next, we have the Tolsta tank by Rebecca Clow. This is kind of like 3 patterns in one, and one of these is I wouldn't necessarily categorize as bra friendly. This is a DK weight pattern, and the sizing on this depends on which version you go from, but the first one listed is 34 to 67. So as with most of Rebecca Clow's patterns, she includes instructions for both DK and fingering weight. I love that because it makes it so much more versatile that if you have a DK weight yarn or you want that thicker fabric of maybe holding fingering double, you can go with that. But if you want something that's going to be lighter, or you have some fingering weight yarn that you're like, I really want a pattern for this, then you can go with the fingering or 4-ply version. This is worked from the bottom up. I think the other ones that I mentioned were all top down, and it features 3 different necklines. So it has a square neck that has kind of these thinner straps. That one I don't really consider bra friendly. In some of her photos, she's definitely wearing a bra, and you can kind of see the bra strap peeking out. So maybe you could make it work, or if you did thicker straps. But the other 2, the O-neck, as well as, I think she calls it a camisole, but it's like a V-neck. It's both V-neck in the front and in the back. Those to me seem very bra friendly. While I'm not a huge fan of bottom up construction, just because I prefer to like try it on as I go, I love the customization you can have with this. It's so easy to first choose the yarn weight and then choose the neckline, but then also like some of the samples has stripes. It's a very easy pattern to throw in stripes into it. So I think with this one pattern, you could make so many different tank tops that feel unique and different. Some that could be very basic, some that are a little bit more statement pieces, like especially with stripes. So yeah, I wanted to include this, even though I'm not a huge fan of bottom up. The cami, the v-neck, I may have to make at some point. Okay, if you want something with a little bit more texture in it, the next one is the Mountain Laurel top by Andrea Gaughan. This is a sport weight and fits about 30 to 66 inch bust. This is a little bit more of a like boxy, almost a muscle tee type construction, but I love the lace cable textures in it, paired with this very simple rib neckline and I-cord edge that really lets the texture of this shine. I also like that it's sport weight. I feel like sport weight's a really good weight for like summer transitional things, because it works up a little bit faster than fingering, but you don't have the bulk of decay. She suggests using something that features plant fibers so that you're getting this natural drape. And I really love that this does look like a top that's going to have some movement to it. This is going to be a little bit more of a statement piece just because of all of that lovely texture, but I think it's going to pair really well like with a pair of jeans or over a dress or skirt, that you can just really let that be the focus of the outfit. I could also even see this paired under like a blazer, where you're letting that texture kind of pair with something that's a little bit smoother and letting the texture shine through. How many times can I say texture? Next we have the Roman Holiday by Sari Nordlund. I was a little surprised when I was going through Sari Nordlund's patterns. I happen to really like her. I find that the way her sizing fits me very well. But most of her tank tops are like I-cord or a very thin shoulder strap that I don't feel like is very bra friendly, but the Roman Holiday is. Now it has limited sizing. It is a DK weight pattern and has sizing 32 to 51. I really hope that maybe at some point she goes back and adds some additional sizings to this just to make it a little bit more size inclusive. This has an interesting neckline because it's kind of like a mixture of an O neck with a V neck. You have a more rounded neck. It is a deeper neck, but then with this like garter stitch detail at the very front, it gives the illusion of a V neck. And I also like that it's mirrored in the back. She suggests using a silk yarn, so something that's going to be very warm weather friendly and also flowy. I could see this being a good layering piece as well. You get a little bit of interest, but it's not a ton of texture. It's not a lot going on so that you're not just visually cluttering your outfit up. But it also has this very classic timeless look to it that could look really great on its own. Next, let's talk about the Pansy by Kayla Baldwin. This is if you want like a little bit of lace. The way this is constructed, the lace is on the bottom half after your bust, so you're not going to be having the issue of like, depending on how gapey your lace is, that you're going to be having your bra peeking through. This is a fingering weight pattern for sizes 30 to 62. It's a V-neck, V in the front and in the back. I think it's worked bottom up. It's hard to see in the sample photos. I do like that this is a good example of like using a variegated yarn in a tank top. But like depending on how much you want the lace to show off, you may want to go with a solid color. Granted, the lace on this is fairly simple, so I do think it is a good like lace with variegated, where the variegated still kind of gets to be the main thing, and then the lace basically just adds some like extra airflow to this garment and kind of like a little bit of a texture to that variegated yarn. So they suggest knitting this up in a sock yarn, a like merino or a wool nylon blend. I think that having something that has a little bit of memory with this would work well. I'm interested, and I have a linen, I think it's linen cotton blend yarn that I kind of want to do in this because it's a very similar colorway. And I'm interested in how that would work up. I think this is a really nice like intro to lace type top where it's going to be very wearable. The lace isn't overwhelming. It looks like a pretty repetitive lace pattern. And it's going to add just a little bit more airflow. So I do think like if you are using a wool blend, that's going to help it be a little bit more like warm weather friendly. Next, we have the only negative ease pattern on this list, and that is the Wisteria tank by Joan. This is a DK weight pattern for sizes 28 to 64. This is a ribbed tank, so that's why it's got that negative ease. This is something that's definitely going to like hug your curves. It also is done at like a little bit of a cropped, so really great with those high-waisted pants, high-waisted skirts. And I like that it's got a little bit of a deeper neckline, without going too deep. So that to me feels like you're not going to be strangling your neck with too much, material up top that you can breathe a little bit more. And the finishings on this all look very simple. Like it's just stockinette stitch along the armholes and then into the ribbing. So it's really letting the ribbing shine. This is something that I think depending on your yarn choice, you could make some really interesting projects. Definitely go with something that's going to have memory so that you can have that negative ease. But I think it would look really great in solids or tonals. The example photos have a little bit of like a variegated yarn to it. So something that can kind of show off a little bit more of the yarn choice, I think. And again, this could be a very good multifunctional piece, something that layers but also could be worn on its own. I really like this pattern. I think this is one that I will probably be knitting up at some point. I just want to find the yarn that I think works well with my wardrobe because I do think I'm going to wear this as a layering piece. All right, let's talk about the Streamline tank by Alexandra Tavel. This is a DK weight pattern for sizes 33 to 61. Top is seamed, so the fronts and back are worked separately and then joined together. Now this is the maybe least bra friendly one on the list just because the straps are a little bit thinner and it is a V-neck. But it does look like it's going to work with most bras. This looks like a really flowy tank, but it still has these like structural elements with these vertical lines that are going down the front and down the sides. And also because it's going to be seamed, you're going to get a little bit of the structure from that. So it suggests using kobu, which is a cotton bamboo. So it's going to not have the memory. It's going to have great flow, but it also might stretch a little bit. So having that seamed is going to keep it from stretching too much. This looks like a really great top to wear in the spring and summer. For those warmer months, you're going to have something that's flowy and drapey, but not too warm. It also looks like something that I think this would look really great paired under a blazer or maybe even like a stockinette cardigan because you do have a little bit of that structural element at the neckline. Okay, the final one on the list is the Seagrass tank by Samantha Guerin. This is a fingering weight pattern for sizes 32 to 64. I really, really like this. It is again that kind of like little bit more muscle tee, boxy looking, but I love the detail of the little bit of lace on the side. Now, there is lace up on the shoulder straps, but it looks like it's far enough over that you're not really going to see much of a bra strap, if any. It's got a folded stockinette trim, so you're going to have a little bit more structure to that, which I think is good because the suggested yarn for this is a flax blend. So using something that's got a little bit of those plant-based in it, maybe paired with a wool or an acrylic or something, is going to give you something that has this drape and movement without, but still having those like little bit more structural elements is going to kind of keep the top from losing its shape. Also, because the lace follows the armholes and then down the side, this does make it a really great layering piece because when it's worn on its own, you see that lace detail, but if it's worn layered underneath something, it just looks like a standard tank. So depending on your color choices, you could make this a little bit more statement or more of a basic piece that pairs well with a lot of different things. All right, there you go. Those are 10 of my favorite bra-friendly tank patterns. I will say, I was actually hoping to wear my staff in light for this video. Maybe that's a like bonus pattern I'll mention at the very end, but I failed at yarn chicken on that, and I need to get an extra skein to finish that off. And the skein is currently on back orders, or that yarn is currently on back order, so hopefully I'll get that done in time to wear it this summer. I would love to know if you've knit any of these patterns. What did you think about them? I haven't knit any of these, so I'm just kind of going off of the pattern info that's available. But if you have, please let us know. If you've got any other patterns that you would highly recommend, let me know. I love finding patterns from your suggestions, and there have definitely been a handful that have are working their way up my queue to make because of your suggestions, so thank you so much for those. Thank you to watching, and a special thanks to our patrons, especially the ones on screen. If you enjoy the videos I make here, please subscribe, give them a like so that the YouTube algorithm helps show it to other people. And also consider heading on over to Patreon. That's the best way to directly support me, and I'm working on getting some perks and bonus stuff up there. So yeah, even if you can't, just, a like and a subscribe or just watching is really appreciated. It means so much that you're taking the time, you're spending your time here with me, and yeah, I love reading all of your comments and getting to know the people who are watching my videos. All right, that's it, and I will see you next time. Bye.